Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our all-in-one Charity Bib platform webinar today. I'm Natalie Young. I am one of the lead account managers here at RunSignup, and I'm happy to talk you through Charity Bibs. So today we're going to cover RunSignup's all-in-one Charity Bib platform. More and more nonprofits have started using RunSignup to register Charity Bib runners to grow their donations and also to empower their fundraisers. So today, we're going to go ahead and walk through some Charity Bib best practices and show you how you can set up Charity Bibs on RunSignup. What are Charity Bibs, and how does Semper Fi Fund use them to maximize their fundraising efforts? So we were lucky enough to have some Semper Fi Fund staff come out to our webinar, our winter symposium in Florida last month. They presented on their Charity Bib process, and they are gracious enough in allowing us to present about their process and share some of their stats with you. So we're going to go ahead and explain Charity Bibs. If you're on this webinar, you probably already know what Charity Bibs are, but we're going to go ahead and explain them. So usually Charity Bibs are exclusive bibs to sold out or prestigious events. These are Charity Bibs to some larger sellout or lottery races, and the races will partner with charities and give them bibs or sell them bibs that charities can use as fundraising spots. With these Charity Bibs, registrants will pay to sign up for one of those Charity Bib spots, and during the registration process, they will agree to a fundraising minimum. And then once the fundraiser has reached that minimum fundraising goal, they receive an entry into that event. So some of the examples for the races that Semper Fi Fund partners with are Boston Marathon, Marine Corps Marathon, Chicago Marathon, Big Sur, and they also have a community athlete campaign, which we'll cover a little bit later. But from the races that they partner with and the fundraisers that they have, what they've found is that more exclusive races equal a higher demand for those Charity Bib spots, which then in turn equals a higher fundraising minimum for the Charity Bib runners. So registration fees for Charity Bibs. I've worked with quite a few races that have Charity Bibs on RunSignup, and I've seen both ends of the spectrum. Sometimes it's free, sometimes there's a medium fee, sometimes there's a larger fee. So we're going to talk about what Semper Fi Fund does and why they charge registration fees for their Charity Bib registrants. So in the case of Semper Fi Fund, there's 3 different reasons why they charge a registration fee. Their registration fee is actually pretty nominal. It's about $50. But the 3 different reasons are to make their fundraisers have skin in the game. And what they've found is that when fundraisers have to pay a small fee up front, they're more committed and incentivized to fundraise and meet or exceed that fundraising goal that they commit to. The second reason is sometimes it's required by the race. So some races will actually require that participants pay the registration fee directly to them in order to even participate in a Charity Bib spot. And then lastly, the third reason is to help the charity recoup their costs. So for fundraising only events, and actually all Charity Bib runners in the case of Semper Fi Fund, when you sign up for a Charity Bib spot, you receive Team Semper Fi Fund gear. So this registration fee helps Semper Fi Fund recoup those costs for the gear that they give out to their supporters. And what options are available for people who want to fundraise and who want one of these Charity Bib spots? So there's 3 different kinds. Number 1, the event entries, which we just covered, but these are the guaranteed event entries that have those required fundraising minimums that allow Charity Bib runners to get into these sold out prestigious races. The second option is fundraiser only entries. So there's two different kinds. These are designed for people who maybe I want to fundraise for Semper Fi Fund, but I already have a spot to Marine Corps Marathon, but I still want to support them. So in this case, I would be registering as a fundraiser only, so I can be part of Team Semper Fi Fund for that event. Another example of a fundraiser entry is friends or family members who want to run alongside and support their friends and family members who got one of the guaranteed charity bib entries. And then the last example is the community athlete program. Semper Fi Fund has an extremely successful community athlete program, and these are for supporters who want to fundraise for the Semper Fi Fund as part of other events around the country where Semper Fi Fund might not have guaranteed entries. And how does Semper Fi Fund determine these fundraising minimums? So usually the base amount is set by the race. So when the race gives out the charity bib spots to their charity bib partners, gives them out or sells them, they will tell the charity partner, for each charity bib spot, your fundraisers have to raise this minimum amount. For other races, you can choose that fundraising minimum, but sometimes Semper Fi Fund and other charities who have charity bib spots, they will increase that fundraising minimum based on the demand for the race and their knowledge of the event. And Semper Fi Fund has found that it really helps to use the RunSignUp fundraiser refund feature to help your fundraisers go above and beyond that fundraising minimum, and that their fundraisers will meet and exceed that minimum fundraising goal when there's some incentive to them to recoup some of their registration fee by going beyond that minimum. So teams, fundraising teams with charity bib registration. Should you use teams? And the answer is yes. So in the case of Semper Fi Fund, teams play a very huge role in their fundraising programs for the charity bib programs and for their community athlete campaign. And they found that just by being part of a team, the team captain and team members, they will go out of their way to recruit friends and family members to join their team, to register for a fundraiser only entry, and to help them support the cause. It's also great because team captains and team members will motivate everyone on the team to go above and beyond to contribute to the overall team fundraising goals. And then team members are just there to support each other. They help each other with fundraising tips and tricks. They'll collaborate on fundraising events, and then they're just there for overall encouragement throughout the fundraising life cycle. And here's some 2019 stats from Semper Fi Fund's fundraising programs. So 38.8% of everyone who joined one of their fundraising campaigns was part of a team. 45% of the total donations were raised by team members. And then they actually had one team who went way above and beyond and raised $172,550. And then the average amount raised by a team with more than 2 team members, sometimes people will start a team, but they never actually recruit someone to join that team. So we only wanted to include teams that had at least 2 members, but the average amount raised by all teams was $8,179. So as you can see, teams do go a long way for these charity bib fundraising campaigns. And now we're going to go ahead and do a demo so you can see examples of how charity bibs work on RunSignUp. So first, I created this test race that any of you can access at any time. It's a live public race, but you can just go to runsignup.com/charitybibs if you want to take a look at this race. And we have all of the steps. So the steps that I'm going to go through next, you can access from this test site. Everything from setting up registration, donations and fundraising, to tips and tricks to help you maximize RunSignup's tools and features. So the first step is to go through the race wizard. So in the first step of the race wizard, this is where you can set up your different events. Other systems will call it categories. We call them events, but this is where you can set up your different events that you will have people be available to your Charity Bib supporters during registration. So I have two different kinds. I have my guaranteed entry event and my fundraising only event. It's really helpful to include the fundraising minimum in the event name. You can also highlight it with event display options, which I'll show you a little bit later. But this makes it very clear to your fundraisers and your supporters and registrants during the registration process what they're signing up for and what that fundraising minimum is. We're going to go ahead and skip to step 3. This is where you will actually set those registration fees for your Charity Bib registrants. So for both of these, I am charging $50, and this will, for people who are signing up for my fake race, they're going to get a fake t-shirt and a fake water bottle and some other Natalie gear. So they're going to pay $50 to just be a part of the Charity Bib program. And then on the next step of the wizard, if you are giving away gear, shirts, jackets, whatever it may be, this is where you can set your giveaway options with the sizes. So people can select that and you'll know what to order when it's time for you to place your Natalie gear order, so you can hand it out at the expo. All right, so now that we've gone through the shell of the race wizard, we're going to go ahead and show you how to turn on donations. So in the back end of RunSignup, you can turn on donations by going to this donations tab and going to setup. And we recently redid our donation setup and individual fundraising and team fundraising setup pages. So it looks a little bit different than it did a few months ago. But here's where you can go in and set up all of your donation options. We're going to start with just general settings. So you can set an end date. This is the last day that anyone would be able to donate to a fundraising page or the overall campaign. Usually this is going to be the race date, if it's a Charity Bib event, or a few weeks after the race if you want to allow people to continue to make contributions to your supporters' fundraising pages once the event date has passed. And then you can set a goal. You don't have to set a goal, it is optional, but that's nice to see on the front end. And then entering a description. So this is no longer optional, but it is very important to enter a description about what your charity is, how the funds will be used, what your mission is. Make it very clear so that when someone is signing up to be a Charity Bib supporter, they know how the funds will be used and what your mission is. So this is not a good description. Charity that supports dogs. So again, you want to make this at least a couple of paragraphs, make it very detailed. Do not copy this example. On this setup page, you can also upload your charity logo, but I really like to point out the donation levels section. So setting up donation levels is optional, but I highly recommend it. There's kind of a psychology behind it. When you're going through the registration process or making a standalone donation, if you do not have donation levels set up, an open general box will appear where someone can type in their donation amount. That open field can be intimidating to some donors. They may only have $5 or $10 to donate, and they might not think that's enough, so they choose to skip making a donation altogether. So this is where the donation levels come in handy, because you can set some higher donation levels, but also some small ones, which actually prompts people to make a smaller donation if they don't have a lot to give. So we will go ahead and save that. You can also, at the bottom of this page, to customize your donation confirmation email, you can click this link it will take you into the donation confirmation email settings. And I will be showing you that next with some tips and tricks on text that you should and can put in your donation confirmation email. So now that we have the basic donation settings set up, what I like to recommend is every race should ideally add a charity partner, even if the charity itself is the race. So Semper Fi Fund, they are the charity. People are signing up to fundraise for them. They add themselves as a charity partner on this page because that allows them to use the donation checkbox, which I will show you. So we'll go ahead and click edit. So I set up the charity partner. I just did San Diego Humane Society. You can also upload the charity logo here and their URL. Charity description, again, just like the donation description, this is what is going to show when someone chooses to donate or fundraise. So very important to add a couple of paragraphs here explaining the mission, how the funds will be used, things like that. The confirmation email message. So this is the confirmation email that will go out whenever anyone makes a donation to the race or the charity. For this to be a legitimate tax receipt, the donation does need to have the charity name, charity address, and EIN. So I don't have that off the top of my head, but I will put charity address, EIN, and then text that I think everyone should include in every donation confirmation email, which is actually something that Semper Fi Fund has taught me throughout the years, is this double your donation text. So this is on the tips and tricks page of that sample event that I set up, and it's under step 7 if you wanted to come here and copy it. I'm just going to go ahead and take this text and add it in here. It's a simple little blurb, but it will catch the attention for some of your donors. Some people may not even think about going to their company to see if they have a gift matching program. So this little blurb will remind some people to take the receipt to the HR department if they know that they have one, or maybe ask their HR department if they have one. And then the default fundraiser message, I will be showing you that on the fundraising setup page, but this is also very important. I'll go ahead and save. Now that we have the charity partner added in the race, this is where we can add the donation box. So I like to call this the grocery store feature. When you're checking out at the grocery store and they always ask you, would you like to donate $1 to help the kids? This is similar to that. So this will add a checkbox on the final step of the registration process, asking people if they want to make a donation to the charity. If someone makes a donation during the registration process, they will not see this box. They will only see it if they chose to skip the donation page during registration. And we find that the amounts in between $3 to $5 work best. And when that smaller donation amount is used, on average, 10 to 12% of people will check that box during registration. And because I only have one charity set up in this race and I still want the whole donation option to show during registration, I'm going to go ahead and check this box. All right, and now that we have donation set up, I will go ahead and set up individual fundraising. So under fundraising, individual fundraisers, we're going to go to general settings. And this is the default individual fundraising message I was talking about. So this page right here, this is on the race level. If you have multiple charities and you want to have different default fundraising messages for each charity, you could set that up for each charity on that charity partner setup page. But this default individual fundraising message, this is what will appear on every single fundraising page that is set up. If you don't have anything entered in this section, fundraisers pages will be blank. They can enter text on their own. A lot of them don't. So adding this text for them also helps so that when Natalie creates a fundraising page and shares it with her mom and her sister, that I am sharing correct information about why I'm fundraising, what the organization is, what the organization's mission is, and how any donations will be used. And then for charity bib events, it usually makes sense for you to check this box. Do not allow new fundraisers without a registration. This is because usually charity bibs have limited spots. Maybe you're fundraising for Boston, you only have 5 or 10 spots. You don't want people to be able to come in and create a fundraising page without registering, because then they might think that that gives them access to one of those limited spots. And because we have a charity set up in this race, we're going to go ahead and check the box for forced fundraisers to select a charity. And then this is where you actually set the fundraising minimums. So in the first step of the race wizard, we added that there's a $1,000 fundraising minimum, but that text itself doesn't tie in with the fundraising settings. You have to come to this fundraising setup page and require that all participants become a fundraiser for this event and set the minimum. So I had my 2 different events. I'm going to require that everyone who registers for either event become a fundraiser, and I'm going to set those different minimums. And now that we have individual fundraising set up, we're going to set up team fundraising, just because we saw how important it is. So that is under fundraising, team fundraisers, and we're going to click on general settings here as well. So the first step to even let anyone create a fundraising team is to check this first box, allow users to set up new fundraiser teams. And then down here, similar to what we did on the individual default fundraising message, we're going to create a team fundraising message. So you can pretty much use the same text that you put on that individual message, but tweak it a little so it makes sense for a team page. And then the last setting I like to point out, we actually just added this a few months ago, but prevent donations to team pages. So this is important for charity bib races where each individual has a fundraising minimum that they have to hit. This will actually prevent someone from making a donation to a team fundraising page. On the team page, if there are any donations made to individuals on a team, that donation total will always roll up to the team total. So the team will always show the true total for all of the donations that your fundraisers on that team have raised. So we will go ahead and save that. And now that we've gone through the donation and fundraising and wizard basics, these are just the very basics. We have a lot of other features. If you have anything crazy or custom that you are looking to set up, you can always reach out to me or your account manager at RunSignUp if you have one, and we can talk through some of the more advanced settings. But now that we've gone through the basics, we're going to go ahead and walk through the registration process so you can see what it looks like. All right. So I have my 2 events, and this is where I was calling out the fundraising minimum in the first step of the wizard, but we have event display options, which again is also on this tips and tricks page showing you how and where you can set that up. But this is a great feature. You can use the banner to highlight the minimum or use catchy text, whatever you want. All of that is customizable. You can add this text here to highlight what your charity bib registrants will receive. And there's a typo. And you can add an image here. So I just added him because I love his face, but you could add, if you have pictures of your team gear, you could highlight it here. You could put the charity logo, whatever you want. So go ahead. Okay, select a shirt size, enter a phone number. So here you can see my charity description, my donation description, and then this is what the fundraising page creation process looks like during registration. So it's all completely integrated. They're going to do everything in one transaction. We don't push them to another system. Everything is within RunSignUp. And so I'm going to go ahead and skip this goal section just so you can see. We'll click continue. Perfect. So we set that default fundraising minimum of $1,000 for this event. So I'm not actually able to complete my registration without entering a fundraising goal of $1,000 or more. So this is another way that they're forced to agree to that minimum to complete their charity bib registration. So I will put 1,500. And the team process is similar. We'll just call this Natalie's team. That fundraising minimum is tied to the individual. So teams do not have a minimum. So I'm just going to leave the team page blank. And just so you can see what that donation checkbox looks like on the cart page, I'm not going to make a donation on this page. We'll go ahead and continue. And here's that box. So if I check the box, it automatically adds the $5 plus the donation processing fee, because this test race has the donor set to pay that processing fee, which is not typical. So, and that is the registration process and charity bib setup. And all of those steps, again, if you go to runsignup.com/charitybibs, all of those steps are outlined here for you, clearly explained with screenshots and the steps in the RunSignup dashboard. Okay, so we'll go back to the slides. And now one of my favorite topics, Facebook fundraising. So we released our Facebook fundraising integration in July of 2019. Semper Fi Fund was nice enough to be our guinea pig for the fundraising. They were our beta testers. They were our first customers to ever use it and give us feedback. And since they turned it on in July, they've had quite a bit of success with it. So I want to talk through how it works. So we have a seamless integration with RunSignup and Facebook fundraising. So when someone registers, if you have the Facebook fundraising integration set up for your race or a charity partner in your race, when someone registers and becomes a fundraiser, as soon as their registration is complete, they will see a pop-up prompting them to link their RunSignup fundraising page to a Facebook fundraiser. If they don't do it during the registration process, they can do it after. Let me just show you really quick. So from their fundraising page, they would see this, create your fundraiser on Facebook. When they click that, a pop-up appears prompting them to link both fundraising pages. It links the RunSignup page and the Facebook fundraiser in real time, and that's it. So, and for all donations that process through Facebook onto a Facebook fundraising page, there are 0 processing fees. So it is totally free. And then just outlining the steps that I just talked through. So step 1, create their RunSignup fundraising page. And there's another typo. There's another typo, sorry. Step 2, pop-up prompts them to connect their RunSignup fundraising page to a Facebook fundraiser, and then step 3, they're done. And then this is an example of what that Facebook fundraising page looks like. So we have real-time Facebook fundraising and donation reports for you as well. So this is an example race. They have a total of 192 fundraisers in RunSignup, 49 of those fundraisers linked their RunSignup fundraising page to Facebook. So 25% of their fundraisers did that, which is actually pretty huge. And they've had a total of just over $8,000 in donations processed on Facebook fundraising pages. So all 8,000 of those donations had 0% processing fees. And then here's some stats for you. So Semper Fi Fund, again, was gracious enough to provide us with these stats, but they pulled all of their numbers. So in 2018, they did have Facebook payments and Facebook donations turned on from their Facebook page. So in all of 2018, they raised a total of just over $1,600 from Facebook, and their average Facebook donation was $32. In 2019, with using the RunSignup Facebook fundraising integration, they raised over $71,000. And then this stat, I was actually pretty shocked by when we released this. So we kind of thought that with the Facebook fundraiser integration, you'd see a lot of $5, $10 donations come through on those Facebook fundraising pages, but their average donation that was made on a Facebook fundraising page was $53. So it actually went up. And then again, this was just for the last 6 months of 2019. So we are super excited to see their stats for 2020 to see how it does for the entire year. Okay, and then how does Semper Fi Fund encourage their supporters to use the Facebook fundraising integration? So we automate that process for their charity bib and community athlete campaigns. Again, after the registration is complete or whenever a fundraising page is created, there's a pop-up prompting them to link their RunSignup page to a Facebook fundraising page. But they also send reminders. So they use our automated registration follow-up emails to reach out to their supporters after they have registered, reminding them that they can link their fundraising page to Facebook, and they give them the steps to complete that. But they also send newsletters on their end, and they have Facebook groups that they remind people in, which we'll get to a little bit in the next few slides. And then, yes, this question does come up. Facebook donations are anonymous. Facebook protects its users and its donors. So when a donation is made to a Facebook fundraiser, that donation is going to show up in your RunSignup reports with the first name Facebook, last name donation. Semper Fi Fund is a great example. They are totally okay with that because of the results they have seen, and they are confident that the Facebook fundraising integration has helped them reach a much, much broader audience than they would if they were just using RunSignup alone. Supporter engagement. So Semper Fi Fund is a great example of an organization that is very connected and engaged with all of their supporters. From the time someone signs up for their charity bib program until the actual event date, they're in constant communication with those supporters, giving them tips and tricks, motivating them, sending them stories, letting them know how grants were used. So they do that by sending out newsletters on a regular basis. They also have closed Facebook groups. So for their guaranteed entry events like Marine Corps or Boston, where they have a limited number of entries and their supporters are agreeing to a fundraising minimum, they have closed Facebook groups. So you can only join that group if you are a charity bib registrant. That way it's another way for their supporters to stay in contact with Semper Fi Fund team members, but also be part of a community so they can ask other people who are fundraising for the same event for tips and tricks and just receive constant motivation. They also have a public Facebook group. This public Facebook group is designed for their community athlete campaign. But just like teams, the more the merrier. Anyone who wants to support Semper Fi Fund or fundraise for them in any way can join this public Facebook group. And then the last thing, they're constantly posting. They're very active on their Facebook pages and on their Facebook group pages and Instagram page. So just staying in constant communication with their supporters throughout their entire fundraising journey. And Semper Fi Fund has an extremely high returning donor rate and returning fundraiser rate. For some of their charity bib programs, they have people who don't even try to get into the race or the lottery. They only want to get into Marine Corps or some of these other events with a Semper Fi Fund charity bib, because it's that important to them to be part of Team Semper Fi Fund every single year and support and fundraise for Semper Fi Fund every year. And Semper Fi Fund, to celebrate their team, they make sure that every race weekend for their charity bib supporters, that the race is special. And they go above and beyond for their supporters, their registrants, and their friends and family members. So they do this by giving out team gear. So you get that team gear when you sign up for a charity bib event. They hand this out at the expo. They also will always do a luncheon or a dinner before the race for their charity bib programs. They also give out cheer items. I know they do foam fingers. I think at some events they did cowbells, they did noisemakers. So they're also giving out those items to charity bib friends and family members to make the whole experience fun for everyone. They will always have someone from Semper Fi Fund or a Semper Fi Fund team of staff come out to each event to be there for their charity bib registrants and supporters. They try to make sure that they have an expo presence, whether it's a booth at the expo, a booth near the finish line, a booth on the course, something like that. They just let their supporters know that Semper Fi Fund is there to support them. And then for some of their larger events that have some of the higher fundraising minimums, they do have massage therapists come out. So a lot of times they'll get massage therapists to donate their time or just be there for Semper Fi Fund. And then finally, why did Semper Fi Fund choose RunSignUp? So we've covered most of these things, but easy to use all-in-one platform where everything is integrated, donation, fundraising, registration, everything is integrated in one system. A free platform with a flat 4% processing fee on all donations that donors can opt to pay. So if you are a race that is absorbing the processing fee, we do have a feature that you can enable to encourage donors or supporters to cover that processing fee for the charity. So that has helped actually reduce their processing fees to lower than 4%. And then our free Facebook fundraiser integration, fundraising pages that let fundraisers tell stories. So I will give you an example. Here we go. So this is an example of one of our fundraising pages where the fundraiser can add a banner. They can add multiple images that will scroll. They can also add their description, set their goal, customize their URL. Now they can actually add additional images into the fundraising page description. And then a 360-degree view across all constituents. So because everything is integrated, our CRM lets Semper Fi Fund and anyone using RunSignUp see the history for their supporters. So in this example, we can see that Sarah Smith has registered for 16 total events. You can see which years she's registered for, which events for each year, total amount fundraised, total dollars donated. So they have this view of all of their charity bib registrants, actually all of their registrants, all of their fundraisers that they can quickly and easily see at any time. Okay, so thanks for watching. We did see a couple of questions come through. So we will just go ahead and go through some of the questions. So the first question is, what are the fees on top of the 4% processing fee? So that 4% processing fee includes the platform fee, it includes the credit card processing fees. There are no additional fees. That's it. The 4% processing fee is all inclusive of the registration, donation, fundraising features, everything. And then, can you use this charity bib option for races that aren't on RunSignUp? Yes. So perfect example is Semper Fi Fund uses this for their Marine Corps Marathon charity bibs and their Boston Marathon charity bibs. So you can use RunSignUp for the charity bib portion of your program, even if the race is using a different registration system. And what fundraising minimums do you usually see? That question is a little bit tricky to answer, just because every charity program is so different, and it really depends on how many spots you have and what you are giving to your charity bib registrants. So I work with a race, it's a perfect example. They are a smaller race, but for their charity registrants, they do a special VIP tent. They do breakfast on race morning. They give out charity gear. They have a charity VIP tent at the expo. So that even though it's a smaller race, because they are doing so much for their charity bib registrants, they have a $1,000 fundraising minimum. So if you aren't doing something like that, you might want to consider having a smaller fundraising minimum, but the more you're offering to your supporters and your charity bib registrants, the higher your fundraising minimum can be without hurting your program. And then a couple of duplicate questions. So I think that is it. If you have any questions about the charity bib program, how to set it up, or any tips and tricks, you can reach me at Natalie@RunSignup. And then again, if you want to look at that test race that I set up, it's just runsignup.com/charitybibs. And thanks for watching.